In the heart of every storm, there is a silence that does not move. The samurai called it seijaku, the stillness within motion. It is not weakness, it is power, refined through patience and pain. In today's world, men drown in noise, endless comparison, restless scrolling, the constant pull of ego. But centuries ago, warriors faced a different kind of chaos. The silence before the blade met flesh. To survive, they trained not just their bodies, but their minds. To remain calm when fear screamed, they understood. The man who stays still while others tremble commands the battlefield. This is not a story about violence. It is a story about mastery, about learning to hold your ground when your emotions beg you to fall. The hidden power of relentless calm is the art of meeting life's storms with unshakable stillness. In this journey, we follow one warrior who learns that true strength is not in striking harder, but in standing quieter. Chapter 1. The Storm Within. The Battle Before the Battle. Night falls heavy over the dojo. Rain hammers the earth like the drumming of anxious hearts. Lanterns flicker, casting thin shadows along the wooden walls, trembling, alive. Beneath the eaves, a young samurai kneels. His name is Raiken. Tomorrow, at sunrise, he faces his first duel, a battle that will test not only his sword, but the steadiness of his soul. He stares at his hands. They do not feel like his own. Every muscle is rigid, every breath uneven. His thoughts spiral. What if I fail? What if I die? Outside, thunder rolls across the mountains as if the heavens themselves mock his trembling. He presses his palm against his chest. His heart pounds like a war drum trapped inside a cage. The door slides open. Tetsuro, his master, enters without sound. The old warrior's presence is calm yet heavy, like a still lake before dawn. His robe is simple, his eyes unshaken, eyes that have seen both death and peace, and learned to tell the difference. Tetsuro looks at him for a moment before speaking. Your sword is sharp, he says, but your mind, it trembles. Raiken bows, ashamed. Master, I cannot quiet it. I've trained for years, but my body betrays me. Tetsuro kneels beside him. He does not comfort. He observes. Then softly he says, you do not fight the man tomorrow. You fight yourself tonight. Those words land like a strike, deeper than any blade. The old master walks toward the open courtyard. Come, he commands. Raiken follows. The rain has not stopped. It falls in relentless sheets, mud pools beneath their feet. The night breathes with the rhythm of wind and water. Tetsuro gestures to the storm. This, he says, is your mind. You cannot control the rain. You cannot command the thunder, but you can learn to stand in it without drowning. He instructs Raiken to kneel in the open courtyard, under the pouring sky. At first, the cold shocks him. Water drips from his hair, down his neck, into his armor. He shivers. His instincts scream to move, to find shelter. Stay, Tetsuro orders. Observe. The minutes stretch into an hour. Raiken's thoughts rage. Memories of failure, fear of death, the hunger for safety. But as the rain continues, something strange happens. His resistance begins to fade. The noise in his mind softens, replaced by the rhythm of falling drops. The rain becomes not an enemy, but a teacher. It demands endurance. It teaches acceptance. In the roar of the storm, he starts to hear something quieter, the sound of his own breath. Tetsuro watches in silence. Then he speaks. The warrior who seeks to escape discomfort becomes its slave. The warrior who breathes through it becomes its master. Modern minds know this truth through science. How the body's panic fades when the breath slows. How focus emerges when adrenaline is met with presence instead of fear. But for the samurai, this was not a theory. It was survival. Raiken inhales slowly. The cold air burns his lungs. He exhales. Steady, deliberate, again and again. With each breath, the tremor fades. He realizes something profound. The fear has not left him, but it no longer controls him. The rain keeps falling, but now it feels different, cleansing, sacred. He opens his eyes and sees his reflection trembling in a puddle, distorted, imperfect, but real. Tetsuro nods once. "Good," he says. "You have met the storm. Now learn to stand within it." As dawn edges on the horizon, the rain slows to a whisper. Raiken's body aches, yet his mind feels strangely light. A calm forged in chaos. He looks at his master and whispers, "Will the fear return?" Tetsuro smiles faintly. "Always, but when it does, bow to it and breathe." The rain ends. The first light of morning touches the soaked ground, glinting off the blade at Raiken's side. Tomorrow's duel waits beyond the mist. But tonight, he has faced something far greater, the storm within. Chapter 1, Part 2. The morning comes not with triumph, but with stillness. A thin mist coils over the courtyard where Raiken kneels, soaked garments clinging to his frame. The storm has passed, yet inside him, it remains. Tetsuro stands beside him, arms crossed, valiant as a statue carved by time. The world smells of wet earth and pine. Each droplet sliding from the eaves echoes like a heartbeat against eternity. "Fear," the master begins, "is not your enemy. It is the shadow of your attention. When you resist it, it grows larger. When you turn toward it, it bows." Raiken listens, but his mind lingers on the coming dawn. His opponent, a man named Kaito, is known for his precision. Cold, fast, ruthless. The village speaks his name like a blade. Raiken has watched him spar. He knows how swiftly he strikes. "What if I freeze?" Raiken asks quietly. Tetsuro turns his gaze toward him. "Then you learn. And if you fall, fall with awareness. The path does not end when you lose. It ends when you forget who you are." He points to the puddle beneath Raiken's knees. "What do you see?" "Water," Raiken answers. "No," says the master. "You see yourself, but not clearly. The surface moves. Every ripple distorts your image. Your fear does the same. Calm the surface, and you will see truth." These are not words of comfort. They are a challenge, a mirror held to the soul. Tetsuro steps back, allowing the silence to grow. "Tonight, you will meditate beside the flame. Watch it, but do not chase it. When the mind burns, breathe like water." That night, Raiken sits before a single candle. The dojo is dark, the world outside sleeping. The flame flickers and dances, alive, unpredictable. His eyes grow heavy, but his focus deepens. Each time the flame bends, he feels the pull of distraction. The duel, the fear, the endless what-ifs. His breath wavers. The flame reacts, twisting violently. He steadies it again with his breath, slow and controlled. For hours, he does nothing but watch. The candle becomes a reflection of his mind, restless, reactive, wild. But slowly, Through discipline and patience, the flame steadies, the samurai's breathing and the fire's rhythm merge. The lesson becomes clear. Calmness is not found in the absence of movement, it is found in harmony with it. Science now calls this coherence, when the heart, mind, and breath align. The samurai had no such term, only the experience of it. When Raiken finally opens his eyes, dawn is near. The world outside glows faintly, pale blue light washing through the shoji doors. Tetsuro enters once more. Without words, he pours 2 cups of tea. Steam rises, curling like ghosts in the cold air. Raiken takes his cup with steady hands. The master studies him quietly, then says, "You are beginning to understand. Calm is not something you find. It is something you build, one breath at a time." He sets his cup down. "Tomorrow, when you face Kaito, do not look for calm. Be it. Do not seek to conquer your fear. Let it sharpen you." Raiken bows deeply. The nervous tremor that once haunted his hands is gone. There is still fear within him, but it no longer commands. Outside, the sky clears. The mountain peaks glow gold under the first touch of sunlight. The duel approaches, yet for the first time, Raiken does not dread it. He feels a silence in his bones, a relentless calm that neither rain nor fear can disturb. He whispers to himself, "The storm outside will end. The storm within must be mastered." The camera pans upward. The sound of birds, wind, and breath. The day of the duel is here. The next lesson will not be learned from words, but from stillness itself. Chapter 2. The Way of Stillness, the Lesson of the Pond. Morning mist drifts through the bamboo forest like breath made visible. The storm has passed. The duel has not yet come. Raiken follows Master Tetsuro in silence, his sandals pressing softly into the damp earth. The forest hums with the low rhythm of life, dripping leaves, distant birds, the whisper of wind threading through hollow stalks. Each sound feels amplified, like the world itself is teaching him to listen. They walk until the forest opens into a small clearing, a pond so still it seems carved from glass. The surface mirrors the sky perfectly. Clouds drift across the water, as if heaven were kneeling down to see its reflection. Tetsuro stops at the edge. His voice is low, steady. "This pond," he says, "is what your mind must become before battle." Raiken kneels, peering into the reflection. He sees his face, eyes hard, jaw tight, and the faint tremble of the water distorts his image. Tetsuro picks up a small pebble and drops it into the pond. Ripples expand outward in soft rings, bending the mirrored sky into chaos. "Every thought," he says, "every doubt, every reaction is a stone cast into stillness. The more you throw, the less you see." Raiken watches the circles fade until the surface returns to silence. He feels something shift in his chest. The lesson is simple, but its meaning cuts deep. The master gestures toward the edge of the pond. "Sit," he commands. "Watch until the water is still again." Raiken obeys. The forest is silent, except for the occasional cry of a crow. He sits cross-legged, hands resting on his knees, watching the surface move. Disturbed by insects, falling leaves, the faint tremor of his own breath. Minutes pass, then hours. Mosquitoes bite at his skin. The ground is cold beneath him. Every instinct begs him to move, to wipe his face, to shift his legs. But he doesn't. He breathes. He watches. At first, his thoughts swarm. The duel, the fear, the waiting. But eventually, like the water, they begin to slow. The stillness outside starts to echo within. Tetsuro sits behind him, silent as stone. Raiken cannot see him, only feel his presence. That steady, grounded awareness. The mind resists stillness the way fire resists water. But Raiken learns, breath by breath, that resistance is part of the process. Hours later, when the last ripple fades, something awakens. For a fleeting moment, the water becomes perfectly still, a flawless mirror. Raiken sees his reflection again, clear, unmoved. Tetsuro finally speaks. This is Seijaku, stillness within motion, calm that breathes even as the world moves. It is the heart of samurai discipline and the beginning of mastery. The master kneels beside him. Remember this, Raiken. Stillness is not what happens when the noise stops. Stillness is what remains when you stop reacting to the noise. The pond reflects both of them now, the student and the master, one young and trembling, the other ageless and composed, and between them, a shared silence that feels like eternity breathing. Raiken's voice is quiet. Master, if the mind can become still, does that mean fear disappears? Tetsuro shakes his head. No, fear remains, but it loses command. You do not erase the storm, you simply learn to see beyond it. Raiken looks down at the water. For the first time in his life, he feels the difference between quiet and stillness. Quiet is outside. Stillness is within. The day fades. The forest glows amber beneath the descending sun. Raiken rises from his meditation, limbs numb, yet spirit light. Tetsuro watches him and smiles faintly, the kind of smile that hides decades of discipline. Tomorrow, he says, you will learn what happens when the pond is disturbed by pride. The forest wind carries his words away, like incense smoke, a promise of the next trial to come. Chapter 2, Part 2. The next morning, the pond lies beneath a heavy fog. Raiken returns before dawn, drawn by something he cannot name, the strange calm that had entered him the night before. He kneels again by the water's edge, watching his breath blur and fade in the mist. Behind him, the crunch of footsteps breaks the silence. Tetsuro appears, holding a bamboo staff. Yesterday, he says, you learned the nature of stillness. Today, you will learn how easily it is broken. He drives the end of the staff into the pond. The still surface shatters into waves. Ripples spread, devouring the reflection of the sky. Now, Tetsuro says, draw your sword. Raiken hesitates. The command feels wrong, but the master's tone leaves no room for doubt. He unsheathes his blade. The mirror of the pond trembles with every heartbeat. Tetsuro stands opposite him, calm as ever. Strike the reflection of your face, he says, with full intention. Raiken frowns. Why would I strike my reflection? Because that is who you are fighting. Always. The words sting. Raiken tightens his grip and swings downward, slicing the water's surface. A flash, a spray of droplets, then stillness, slowly returning. He looks down, panting. His reflection is gone. Only the ripples remain. Tetsuro's voice cuts through the air. The first enemy of stillness is ego. It hides behind pride, righteousness, and even discipline. When you fight to protect the image of yourself, you're already defeated. Raiken feels the truth pierce deeper than any blade. He remembers his rage, his fear of losing, his hunger to prove his strength. All of it. Storms thrown into the pond. Master, he says quietly, then how does one destroy the ego? Tetsuro turns toward the water. You do not destroy it. You see it clearly, without judgment, until it no longer deceives you. He places the staff gently across Raiken's shoulders. The path of mastery, he continues, is not about adding more skill, more power, more victories. It is about removing what clouds the reflection. Raiken lowers his sword. His breath slows. He gazes again at the pond, the water clearing, the ripples fading. He sees his reflection return, but softer now, humbler. For the first time, he does not look away. The morning sun breaks through the fog, turning the pond into a field of gold. Birds scatter into the air. The world feels reborn. Tetsuro steps closer. When your mind is still, he says, you begin to hear what others miss, the quiet truths that whisper beneath fear and noise. Raiken nods. The lesson settles like sunlight on stone. Stillness is not an escape. It is strength disguised as peace. It is the unseen power behind every true warrior's calm. They leave the pond in silence, and as they walk through the bamboo forest, Raiken's footsteps are lighter, not because the path has changed, but because he has. Stillness is not the absence of movement, but the mastery of reaction. The calm warrior does not escape the storm. He becomes the eye within it. Chapter 3. The Test of Ego, the Mirror of the Blade. Days later, Raiken stands beneath the same sky, but something within him has changed. His movements flow sharper, cleaner, his breath steadier. Each morning, the dojo floor sings beneath the rhythm of his training. He has begun to believe in his own calm. And that belief, though quiet, hums with danger. The lesson of the pond had planted humility, but victory waters pride. And pride grows fast, like weeds after rain. It happens during a sparring match. A fellow apprentice, older, heavier, confident, challenges Raiken before the other students. Raiken accepts. The clash is brief, too brief. The opponent lunges, Raiken sidesteps. One motion, effortless, and with a single strike, disarms him. The bamboo sword flies through the air, landing near the master's sandals. For a breath, there is silence. Then whispers ripple through the dojo. Eyes turn. Raiken feels their weight. He does not smile, but inside, something does. Tetsuro, seated at the edge, watches without expression. Raiken bows, correctly, respectfully, yet the bow is hollow. It conceals the quiet pulse of triumph inside him. That night, Raiken walks through the courtyard alone. The moonlight glints off his blade like a second colder sun. He draws it halfway, admiring how steady his hands are now. Perhaps, he thinks, I am becoming who I was meant to be. The voice that follows cuts through his thought like steel. Or perhaps you are becoming who you were warned not to. Tetsuro stands in the shadows. The old master's presence is heavier than any armor. Raiken straightens. Master, I did as you taught. My strike was pure. My focus did not waver. And yet, Tetsuro says, stepping forward, your heart trembles louder than your blade. Raiken frowns. I do not understand. Tetsuro gestures toward the sword. What do you see when you look at your reflection there? Raiken glances down. The steel shows his face, calm, proud, unyielding. I see a warrior, he replies. The master's eyes narrow. Then you are blind. He walks to the center of the courtyard, motioning Raiken to follow. You wish to test your strength? Then face me, not with your weapon, but with your words. Confused, Raiken sheathes his sword and steps closer. The air feels charged, like a storm building behind the clouds. Tetsuro's tone deepens. Tell me, Raiken, when you struck your brother down today, who did you defeat? Raiken answers quickly. My opponent. No. Then, my fear. Still no. Then who, master? You defeated yourself. The humble student, the learner who once listened. You killed him with pride. The words land like blows. Raiken's chest tightens. You think pride is a sin? He challenges. Should a warrior not feel strength after victory? Tetsuro's voice is soft. Too soft. A sword that trembles with pride is already dull. You think it shines because of your skill. But reflection is not light. It is illusion. Raiken's jaw hardens. Then why train me to win, if victory itself corrupts? The master's eyes glint like flint. Because you still confuse winning with mastery. The calm man does not seek to win. He seeks to understand. Raiken feels heat rising in his chest. So, you would have me lose? No, Tetsuro says. I would have you disappear, until there is no you left to lose or win. The silence that follows is heavy, sacred. Only the sound of the night wind moves between them. Raiken lowers his gaze, torn between defiance and shame. For the first time since the pond, his heart feels unsteady. The master turns away. Ego, he says quietly, is the last mask a warrior removes, and it always clings hardest when the blade begins to shine. He walks toward the temple steps. Meditate before dawn. Look into the sword again, and when you can no longer see yourself, come find me. Raiken stands alone beneath the moon, staring at his reflection in the blade. The calm he once felt now feels like a fragile shell. Beneath it, something restless stirs. He realizes stillness can be learned, but ego waits, patient, hidden, for the moment we believe we've mastered it. The night deepens. Raiken's reflection trembles in the steel. The face of a man who no longer knows if he's becoming disciplined or deceived. Chapter 3, Part 2. Raiken sits cross-legged before the temple steps, the cold stone pressing into his knees. The night stretches above him like ink. Stars pierce the darkness, indifferent witnesses to human struggle. He gazes into the polished edge of his sword. For hours, he sees nothing but himself. Pride, fear, and the faintest flicker of doubt. Every imperfection is amplified, every certainty questioned. Tetsuro approaches silently, kneeling beside him. What do you see now? He asks. Raiken exhales slowly. I see all the things I thought I had conquered. The fear, the pride, they are still here. The master nods. Good. Recognition is the first victory. Calm without awareness is hollow. True mastery begins when the mind does not flinch at its own reflection. Raiken bows his head. The weight of his own ego feels heavy, almost unbearable. He realizes that pride had crept quietly, unnoticed. His victories had become distractions. The lessons of the pond, the storm, and the breath had been partially forgotten. Tetsuro continues. Victory over an opponent is fleeting. Victory over yourself endures. Do not mistake skill for wisdom or presence for performance. The ego always seeks applause. Silence always demands attention. Raiken closes his eyes. He feels his heart settle into the rhythm of the night. His muscles relax. The tension in his chest softens. The sword before him is no longer a mirror of pride, but a tool, an extension of disciplined presence. From now on, Tetsuro says, You train not to impress, to conquer, or to be seen. You train to see yourself clearly in every action, every thought, every breath. The young samurai nods. Understanding spreads like light across a dark forest. Humility does not diminish strength, it sharpens it. Awareness tempers power. Presence becomes unshakable. Raiken rises. He lifts his blade, feeling its weight in harmony with his body. He bows deeply to the master. I see now, he whispers, that the true duel is always within. Tetsuro smiles faintly. And when you master that duel, no opponent can disturb your calm. The wind brushes the courtyard, rustling the leaves of the sacred trees. Raiken feels the lessons seep into his bones. The ego has not vanished, but it no longer controls him. He has begun to embody the quiet strength of the warrior. The master steps back, gesturing toward the bamboo forest. Rest now. Tomorrow, you face a greater challenge. Not with a sword, but with solitude. Only in silence can the inner enemy be truly met. Raiken watches the mist curling among the trees. The path ahead is clear, not in certainty, but in purpose. He walks toward the dormitory, blade sheathed, heart steady. Chapter 4. The Blade of Silence. Facing the inner enemy. The forest sleeps under a blanket of mist and shadow. No birds, no insects. Only the occasional rustle of bamboo leaves whispering in the night wind. Tetsuro leads Raiken deep into the heart of the forest, farther than any path he has walked before. Here, there is no dojo, no lanterns, no familiar markers. Only trees, moss, and the quiet weight of solitude. You will stay here, Tetsuro says, voice calm, for 7 days. No sword, no speech, no fire. Nothing but yourself and the forest Raiken swallows, uncertain. The idea terrifies him. He has trained with discipline, endured fear, and faced ego. But this is different. This is a duel with something unseen, something that has lived inside him longer than he has known, his own mind. The master kneels and presses a hand to Raiken's shoulder. The greatest battles, he says, are fought without witnesses. The enemy is not outside. The enemy is within. Raiken watches as Tetsuro disappears among the bamboo. He is alone. The first hours are restless. Every shadow twists into imagined foes. Memories of mistakes, doubts, and unfulfilled desires surge through him like currents in a river. He tries to resist them, but resistance only strengthens them. He remembers the pond, the storm, the lesson of the breath. He inhales slowly, exhales. Again, the forest listens. By nightfall, hunger gnaws at him. Cold bites through his thin robe. Sleep beckons, a tempting escape from the confrontation with himself. But Raiken sits upright. He breathes. He observes. Hours pass like years. The thoughts do not stop. They do not relent. And then, gradually, a subtle shift occurs. He stops reacting. He does not push the memories away. He does not chase the fleeting desires. He simply watches, like the pond, like the storm, and lets them pass. The first night teaches him that silence is not absence. Silence is presence. Zanshin, he whispers to himself, recalling a term his master once mentioned. The total awareness that remains after every action. As Raiken sits, the forest becomes a teacher. The rustling leaves are no longer distractions. They are signals. The wind is no longer cold. It is a companion. The beating of his heart is not fear. It is rhythm. A drum calling him to life, not panic. For the first time, he understands a truth beyond words. The enemy he feared most is not the sword in another's hand. It is the chaos in his own mind. The night stretches on. Raiken sits unmoving, breathing, feeling, observing. For hours, he experiences a calm deeper than anything he has known. Not the calm of escape, but the calm of mastery, of stillness forged in the fire of awareness. The first part ends as dawn edges through the forest, a faint glow illuminating his quiet figure. The next challenge will be harder, testing his newfound calm against the relentless truths of his inner self. Chapter 4, Part 2. Dawn stretches its pale fingers through the bamboo, casting long, slanting shadows. Raiken's eyes open slowly. His body aches from long hours of stillness, yet his mind feels lighter, as if the night has peeled away layers of distraction. He rises, barefoot on the damp earth, and begins to walk. Every step is deliberate. The forest floor is uneven, littered with roots and fallen leaves, yet he moves as if he is part of it, attuned to its rhythm. Hunger and exhaustion tug at him, but he does not resist. He breathes into them, accepts them, transforms them into awareness. Each sensation becomes a teacher, each pang of discomfort a lesson in discipline and presence. By the third day, the forest no longer feels hostile. The shadows no longer whisper threats. They are mirrors of his own mind, revealing impulses he had once hidden. Anger at his own weakness, envy of others' skill, the secret desire to be praised. He sits by a small stream and stares into the water. The surface reflects the sky. But now he sees himself clearly, not as a warrior yet perfected, but as a man learning to confront what he had long denied. This is the crucible of Zanshin, he murmurs, to observe without reacting, to feel without being consumed. Hours turn to nights and nights to dawns. Time loses meaning. Hunger, fatigue, fear, pride, all are noted, none are followed. The mind, once a chaotic battlefield, begins to settle. Thoughts arise and fade like ripples in the stream. Emotions surge and recede like wind through the bamboo. Raiken becomes both witness and participant, neither resisting nor chasing, simply present. By the seventh day, his awareness has deepened into something tangible, a quiet power, not flashy or loud, not performance, not skill, but the still, unshakable strength that flows from absolute presence. When Tetsuro returns, Raiken rises to greet him. No words, only a nod. The master studies him silently. "You have met your inner enemy," he says at last, "and you have not struck." That is the mark of a true warrior. Raiken feels it, a calm that no external force can disturb. The forest, once a place of fear and isolation, now feels like home. He has learned that the greatest battles are fought unseen, in the silence of the mind. The sword outside, Tetsuro whispers, is nothing compared to the sword within. The young samurai bows. For the first time, he understands the paradox: to conquer without striking, to win without fighting, to be strong by being still. Chapter 5. The strike that never came. The victory of stillness. The dojo is quiet, save for the faint creak of wooden floors and the soft hum of morning wind through the open doors. Raiken stands at the center, armor polished, sword in hand. Yet his stance is different now. He does not tremble. He does not overthink. He is present. Across the hall, his rival, Kaito, waits. A young man hardened by arrogance, quick and precise. He has trained for years to strike first, to dominate, to win. The students watch in tense anticipation. Whispers ripple like static through the hall. Everyone expects a clash, a duel to prove strength, to demonstrate mastery. Raiken breathes in slowly, feels the floor beneath his feet, the weight of the blade in his hands, the air brushing against his skin. He remembers the pond, the storm, the nights of silence. He remembers his ego tested, broken, and observed. He remembers Tetsuro's words. The calm man rules not others, but himself. Kaito lunges, blade raised, a blur of motion, intent clear. Time slows. Raiken does not move. He feels the strike approach, yet there is no fear, no anticipation, no reaction. The swing meets. Nothing. Kaito halts, blade quivering midair, astonishment on his face. The energy Raiken exudes, calm, unyielding, complete presence, disarms the opponent before the first strike lands. The hall is still. The students are silent. The only sound is the subtle shifting of air. Raiken lowers his sword, steady and deliberate. Kaito hesitates, then drops his own blade. Confusion and awe flicker across his expression. Tetsuro steps forward, voice soft but commanding. Strength lies not in striking harder, but in holding still when all else demands action. Raiken bows, not in triumph, not in pride, but in recognition. The duel was never about defeating Kaito. It was about mastering himself. Modern eyes might see restraint, patience, or control, but the samurai understands it as the victory of stillness, a force more powerful than speed, more potent than aggression. Chapter 5. Part 2. The hall feels suspended in time. Even the sunlight filtering through the shoji panels seems to hold its breath, as if honoring the quiet that has overtaken the space. Kaito steps back, his pride wounded, but he cannot summon anger. The presence emanating from Raiken, the calm forged through storms, stillness, and introspection, is a force he cannot pierce. It is not intimidation. It is absolute clarity, a signal that the duel is already resolved, not by the blade, but by the mind. Raiken lowers his sword completely. He exhales slowly, allowing the tension in his shoulders and hands to dissolve. The students, long accustomed to displays of strength, watch in awed silence. They feel the shift, though none can articulate it. The room vibrates with the power of restraint. Tetsuro approaches, placing a hand on Raiken's shoulder. The calm man does not need to strike. The world reveals its truth to him, and the chaos that frightens others folds before him like mist. Raiken looks at Kaito, who finally meets his gaze. There is no hostility now, only understanding. The duel has ended, yet no blade has cut, no blood has fallen. Victory, Raiken realizes, is not in domination. It is in the mastery of self. He recalls the pond, the nights of silence, the mirror of the blade. Every trial has led to this moment. Every breath, every observation, every struggle with fear and ego has coalesced into presence. The same calm that steadied him in the forest now steadies the hearts of all who witness it. Tetsuro's voice echoes once more. Remember, Raiken, the man who conquers himself is invincible. The man who controls others is only temporarily powerful. Raiken bows deeply to the master, the opponent, and the silent hall itself. He understands fully. Strength without stillness is fragile. Action without awareness is hollow. The strike that never came is the ultimate demonstration of the warrior's path. A victory beyond swords, beyond technique, beyond fear. Outside, the morning sun rises higher, casting warm light across the polished wooden floor. The lesson extends beyond the dojo. In meetings, in crises, in moments of anger or fear, the strongest act is not reaction, but restraint. Raiken sheathes his sword. His calm is unshakable. The world will test him again, but now he knows the truth. The warrior who masters himself carries the calm that moves mountains. Chapter 6. The Eternal Path Beyond the Sword. Years have passed. The dojo stands unchanged. Timbered walls, the scent of polished wood, the quiet echo of discipline. Yet everything is different. Raiken has grown, not just in skill, but in presence. The calm that once shook his adversaries now flows effortlessly through every action, every word, every breath. He walks among his students, guiding them not with force, but with quiet authority. Calm, he teaches, is not an achievement. It is a practice, a lifelong discipline. Young warriors bow before him, eager to learn. Some arrive with trembling hands, others with burning pride, all unaware that the first duel they face is always within. Raiken sees himself in them, the fear, the impatience, the longing to be seen, and he remembers the pond, the storm, the nights of solitude, the reflection in the blade. He instructs them in presence. Do not seek to strike first. Seek to see clearly. Do not chase mastery. Let it find you through stillness. The lessons extend beyond swords. When a student falters in meditation, he guides them to breathe through discomfort. When a young warrior's ego flares, he shows them the mirror of awareness. When fear rises in the heart, he teaches the power of observation over reaction. Modern minds, too, would recognize these truths. The workplace meeting, the heated argument, the crisis at home, all are duels of the mind. The calm warrior moves through life like water, soft, yielding, yet unstoppable. Tetsuro, older now, watches silently from the edge of the hall. He has become what you once were, the master whispers to himself, and more. Raiken's reflection in the polished floor mirrors not arrogance, but serenity. He has learned that mastery is not the accumulation of skill, but the integration of presence into every moment. The sun rises, casting long golden shadows across the dojo. It illuminates the swords, the students, the master, and Raiken stands at the center, steady as the mountains beyond the valley. When the world roars, he tells his students, be like water. When fear rises, breathe like stone. When anger burns, move like wind. Calm is not silence. It is control. The first part ends with Raiken watching his students practice. The forest beyond the dojo, alive with the whisper of wind through bamboo. The path continues, infinite and unbroken. Chapter 6. Part 2. Seasons shift. Years layer upon one another like sediment in a riverbed. Raiken moves through each day with quiet precision, his presence now a force that shapes the environment around him without effort. The dojo is alive, not with noise, but with focus. The students' movements echo discipline. The air hums with concentration, and even the sun seems to linger longer, observing the steady rhythm of practice. Raiken reflects on his journey. The boy who trembled before his first duel has become a man who bends neither to fear nor ego. The lessons of the pond, the storm, the blade, and solitude have fused into a single truth. Strength lies in mastery over self, not in domination of others. He walks among his students, watching one apprentice struggle with a heavy sword. Do not force the blade, he whispers. Let it flow through you. Control is not in muscle, it is in mind. Later, he sits beneath the bamboo grove, recalling Tetsuro's words from decades ago. The calm man rules not others, but himself. He smiles faintly, knowing this principle is timeless, as true in the forests of ancient Japan as it is in the boardrooms, streets, and homes of the modern world. Every breath he takes, every stance he holds, communicates the invisible power of presence, of unwavering awareness, of patience forged in solitude. A student approaches, eyes wide. Master, how can we attain the strength you have? Raiken looks out at the swaying bamboo. Strength is not a destination, it is a path walked every day with discipline, silence, and attention. You cannot seize it, you must allow it to grow inside you. The wind carries the whisper of leaves, brushing against the polished swords like voices of ancestors. Raiken's mind drifts briefly to Tetsuro, then returns to the students before him. He sees their potential, their struggles, their fears, and he understands that teaching is another form of mastery, another extension of the calm that now resides fully within him. The lesson extends beyond combat. The calm presence that steadies a sword also steadies the heart. The breath that tempers fear also tempers anger, indecision, and chaos. The stillness that dominates an opponent now dominates the self. As the sun dips below the horizon, bathing the dojo in amber light, Raiken closes his eyes. He feels the infinite rhythm of life, the pulse of earth, wind, water, and fire, and recognizes the eternal truth. True strength is not born from control over others, but from mastery over your own mind. And with that, the eternal path continues. The students bow, the bamboo sways, the world hums, and Raiken stands, calm, vigilant, and unshakable, a warrior beyond the sword, a master of self, a guide for those who walk the path of relentless calm. Core moral reiterated: true strength is not born from control over others, but from mastery over your own mind. Raiken stands beneath the setting sun, the dojo behind him bathed in golden light. The wind whispers through the bamboo, carrying lessons of discipline, presence, and calm. The path of the warrior is eternal. Each step, each breath, each choice is an opportunity to master yourself. Let the calm within guide your actions, and the silence within sharpen your mind. He turns toward the viewer, eyes steady, voice quiet but commanding. If this journey resonated with you, carry it forward. Share your thoughts below. Discuss, reflect, and learn together. And for more lessons from the way of the warrior, subscribe and join the path. The screen fades to amber light over the bamboo forest. The soft sound of wind and distant chimes lingers. Presence is a choice. Calm is a weapon. And mastery is the path that never ends. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Walk the path. Master yourself.